What up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Matt Wyatt. So, yesterday, we had a big major announcement for the upcoming Avengers Doomsday that is directed by the Russo brothers, the people that gave us the four banger Marvel movies: the Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Captain America: Civil War, and Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame. But lately, they have been a big miss when they made movies outside of the Marvel universe. When they announced that they were coming back to direct Avengers: Doomsday and Secret Wars, I think that was a safe choice because Marvel's not in the best place right now with their Marvel movies. They have been a hit and miss for the past 5 years, and with Kevin Feige got his authority back, we can actually get a right direction for the multiverse saga, because Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars are going to be the multiverse saga that will close it off the whole thing. So when they announced that Robert Downey Jr. was coming back as Doctor Doom, a variant from another universe, and playing the main baddie, I was excited. I think that this was a genius move. I know a lot of people said that this was desperate, when a lot of people did not complain when Hugh Jackman was coming back as Wolverine, or when Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man came back in No Way Home. Nobody ever complained that that was desperate, because people just want to see Tony Stark's Iron Man. If they announced it, they wouldn't even say it's desperate, but that would even be more desperate if they brought him back as Iron Man. But I still believe that we might see Tony Stark's Iron Man in the Secret Wars, and Chris Evans' Captain America. So here are the announcement that they have announced the cast members of the movie for Avengers Doomsday, since now they're in production right now. They're shooting in the UK, I believe, and they did a 5.5 hour live stream on YouTube where they announced the casting chair of who's going to be in the film for, like, I believe it was like 28 actors or so, and they did it for every 12 minutes. And for me personally, I don't think they should have done every 12 minutes. I get that they really want to anticipate some of the earlier list, that some people that we suspect that they were going to be in the movie, and give all the bigger hits that we didn't even think they were going to be in the movie for last. So I get why they did it, but I still think they should have just dropped a 1 minute and 5 minute video of showing every casting chair leading up to Doctor Doom with Robert Downey Jr. And I thought that video was pretty good. So for this one, Anthony Mackie, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, with Anthony Mackie as Captain America, they're pretty much coming back. That's for sure. I mean, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, Ebon Mosk, I think that's his name. I can't. I mean, Ebon. Sorry if I'm butchering his name so badly, but the guy who's playing the Thing, and Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, they're all coming back. The Fantastic Four are definitely coming back because that's something to do with Doctor Doom, so that makes perfect sense because they're setting up their character in their solo movie that's coming out in July, and that would lead into Avengers Doomsday. So we already know that the Fantastic Four are going to be in the movie. Another casting is Sebastian Stan as Bucky. I kind of suspected that Bucky was going to be in it. I was not that surprised. I mean, we know he's going to be in the upcoming movie Thunderbolts, which I'm very excited to see. And yeah, so that's no surprise. So here's the next one. Leader Letitia Wright will return as Black Panther in Avengers Doomsday, which, yeah, because she's our new Shuri is our new Black Panther. Not a big fan of Wakanda Forever. I personally thought that her being Black Panther made no sense, and I think that was a big mistake. I thought Lupita Nyong'o's character, who is T'Challa's love interest, she should have been the next Black Panther. And the thing that was missing in Wakanda Forever is that we don't have the T'Challa, we don't have the main character, and that was unfortunate. So we're gonna have to deal with it. She's our Black Panther, but she's not the Queen of Wakanda, because M'Baku is the one who's ruling Wakanda now, from what we last saw. And the next up, we got Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, which, no surprise, we already know that he most likely will be in the movie. And they did that little small baby chair to poke fun of Scott Lang, because Scott Lang turned into a baby when they were trying to reverse time using that time machine in Avengers Endgame. So that was part of the joke. And because it's directed by the Russo brothers, so of course they're going to make that joke. And because he's small, because that's part of the shrinking tech. Next up, we got Wyatt Russell that will return as John Walker, who is pretty much the Walmart of Captain America, and he's called himself U.S. Agent. He was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. He was temporarily their new Captain America until he wasn't, and then he's now in the upcoming movie of Thunderbolts. So basically, they're bringing back the crew of the Thunderbolts crew. And I'm a little bit surprised that they wanted to reveal it a little bit soon, because we're starting off their first movie, and we don't know if any of them are going to make it out alive. But let's not to say that they won't, that will make it out alive. We don't know, because this is supposed to be a multiversal event. So we don't know if these are the same people from the 616 timeline. They could be different variants. They might be from the world where Dr. Doom is from. because I believe that we saw some of the concept art that we don't even know that they're even legit, but it got leaked online, and we've seen some of the variants from Battle World that Doctor Doom is from. That could be that could be it. But who knows? We'll see. But it most likely might be the Thunderbolts crew from the 616. Now we got the Tanak Hirata. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. I'm not good with names. I'm sorry. So this is the actor who played Namor in Wakanda Forever, which I thought he was the best part of the movie. He's also coming back in Avengers Doomsday, which I was surprised. I never thought we were ever going to see Namor again. I mean, he's the leader, the protector of the Atlantis who tried to take over Wakanda and killed Shuri's mother in the movie. And I really enjoyed him. And he acknowledged in the movie that he's one of the first carry the mutant gene. He is one of the first generation of mutants that would kind of lead into the X-Men. Okay, next up. Yep, Iban Mas Buckhart. I'm so terrible with pronouncing these names. They're so difficult to pronounce. But Iban, the guy who's playing Ben Grimm, yeah, he's also going to be in it. Like I said before, the Fantastic Four cast members are coming in Avengers Doomsday. We all knew that they were going to come back for this movie. Simu Liu as Shang-Chi after like 3 years of absence since he got his own solo movie. And originally, when they announced that they were going to do Avengers Kane Dynasty before they started scrapping the whole thing, they originally were going to get the Shang-Chi director to direct Avengers Kane Dynasty that focuses on the Kane Conqueror with Jonathan Majors. But then after everything fell apart, people did not like how they've handled Kane, especially with Jonathan Majors that dealt with a major drama with his lawsuits and got blacklisted in Hollywood. So yeah, so they completely resolved that storyline in a Loki season 2 with the Kane. So clearly Doctor Doom is now going to be their main baddie of the multiverse saga. So Simu Liu returning as Shang-Chi, thank God. I'm glad he's coming back for this. It would have been a missed opportunity if he did not come back for this movie, because he still hasn't got a sequel, and they waited way too long, and I feel like it's time for him to come back. But how they're all going to play into the story, we don't know, and we're going to have to wait and see. Okay, what next up? We got Florence Pugh returning as Yelena, who was one of the Black Widow's Red Room in the Black Widow solo film that was supposed to be Natasha's sister, and she appeared in the Hawkeye show, which I did not like. I mean, I like the Yelena character, I really do, but I'm not the biggest fan of her character. But I'm looking forward to seeing her in Thunderbolts. Okay, what else? Who was in the cast members? I gotta scroll up. Now, this one caught me by surprise. Kelsey Grammer playing Beast, coming back as Beast. When we last saw Kelsey Grammer's Beast, we saw him in the post-credit scene in the Marvels, which I completely disliked that movie, but I thought the mid-credit scene was awesome to see Kelsey Grammer's Beast. That looks like it's coming off of that 1990s style comic book accurate from the X-Men universe. And when we last saw him, she was with Monica Rambeau, and she was like, she came out of her coma, and she was in the X-Men chamber, and she met her mother's doppelganger in that universe. So looks like that we might meet up with this version when we last saw him in the Marvels. And I'm so happy because I love Kelsey Grammer's portrayal as Beast. I thought he was the best part in X-Men The Last Stand, and we saw a brief cameo of him in X-Men Days of Future Past. But I'm so happy that we're going to see him come back to the role again. It gets me more excited for this. Okay, Lewis Pullman. You may have remembered him who played Bob in Top Gun Maverick. He's also playing Bob again, but he's also secretly a comic book character called Sentry, which he's basically Superman in that universe. And it looks like that he is going to make it out alive in Thunderbolts. And I'm kind of glad that they're doing that, because they don't want him to be a one-off character in that movie. I want him to play a bigger part in this larger MCU. So I'm glad that he's returning. Okay, Danny Ramirez, who's playing their new Falcon, and he appeared in the Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's also a partner with Sam Wilson's Captain America as the new Falcon in the Captain America Brave New World. And I was disappointed by Captain America Brave New World, and I was not a big fan of Danny Ramirez's Falcon. I did not like his character. I didn't find him all that interesting. He kind of felt it just was kind of there to be the supporter, and nothing really more. And I just wasn't a big fan of how they handled him. But that being said, that doesn't mean that he can't be handled well in Avengers Doomsday when it comes to the Russo brothers and with Kevin Feige at the helm. So hope for the best that they can use him well in this movie than they did in the last one. Now, Joseph Quinn, Johnny Storm, like I said, we already know that, so on to the next. Okay, David Harper will return as Red Guardian. Look, I did not like Red Guardian in Black Widow. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was way too overly campy, unlikable, over the top acting, overacted. I love David Harper as an actor, and I think he's an incredible actor. But from what I've seen in the Thunderbolts trailer, it looks like he's going to be handled well, and I suspect that he was probably going to bite the dust in that movie. I feel like they're going to give him a redemption arc and give him a sacrifice in that movie, but who knows? Like I said before, we don't know that some of the actors from Thunderbolts are going to be the same ones that we know from the 616 timeline. They could be from another universe, another variant, that coming from Doctor Doom's world. So we'll wait and see when we see Thunderbolts. Now, M'Baku, well, Winston Duke as M'Baku is going to be in Doomsday. He's, like I said, he is now the king of Wakanda. He's taking T'Challa's place, but he's not their Black Panther. Shuri is still their Black Panther in Wakanda. So I'm glad, because he's one of my favorite characters. I loved him. He was one of the best parts in the movie, and I loved him in Infinity War. He's so good. I love his portrayal as M'Baku. He comes off as very unlikable, and he almost had T'Challa beat in the Trial of Combat in the first movie. He was close to beating him. And he is so funny and very comedic. He's such a likable character, and I think he's great. Okay, so the Hannah John Kamen will return as Ghost, which you may have heard that she was the main antagonist, a Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I did not really give a crap about her character. I really hope that they redeem her character in Thunderbolts, because I was not a big fan of her character, so it looks like that they're going to bring her back in the movie. So it looks like she's not going to bite it. The one member of Thunderbolts who are not going to be in it is Taskmaster, which nobody cared about Taskmaster, and she was nowhere to be found in the trailers. We only saw glimpses of her in the promos, and that's about it. Now, this one's going to take everybody by surprise. Tom Hiddleston will return as Loki. Now, this is going to be the Loki that we last saw in Loki Season 2. He is now the god of stories. And he's now in charge of this whole tree of the whole multiverse that he is going to be stuck in. And I have no doubt that he was going to come back at some point, that we were going to get that reunion with Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston. Now we know that they're going to get that reunion at some point. It was just a matter of time that they're going to do that. Yes, the 616 Loki that we know from Infinity War is dead. And yes, we live in a world that every character doesn't stay dead in the universe, whether it's a variant or they're already brought back from the dead. And it's inconsequential. We already know that. That's always been their style. But the best thing that they can do is make the best movie as they can and make a good story out of it. And that's all it counts. And we shouldn't be that surprised. Now, next up, this one caught me by surprise. Patrick freaking Stewart is coming back as Professor X in Doomsday. It seems, when I found out that Patrick Stewart was on that names list, it gets me the feeling that we're probably going to get the X-Men team in as a big part of an Avengers Doomsday. And I cannot wait, because I really hope that this is not one of those times when we see a variant of Professor X who dies in the next one, because he got vaporized in the X-Men The Last Stand. He came back in X-Men Days of Future Past in the Fox's Marvel X-Men universe. Then we saw him making a cameo in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as part of the Illuminati, and he gets killed by Wanda, which I was like, come on, how many times he's going to keep dying? And also, we saw him, the other version of Charles, die in Logan. Let's hope that he doesn't bite the dust in this movie. Please, for the love of God, please don't do this. I love Patrick Stewart as Professor X. With all due respect with McAvoy, I love McAvoy as Charles Xavier as his own, but I thought Patrick Stewart did a better job. I liked his portrayal more. And look, we were all hoping that we were all suspecting that maybe McAvoy and Fassbender will probably be in the movie, but apparently they're not. But who's to say that they can't show up in Secret Wars? We'll see. Ian McKellen. That's another name that completely caught me off guard, that I never thought Ian McKellen would return as Magneto, because the last time we saw him as Magneto was in the Fox's Marvel movie, was in X-Men Days of Future Past. I thought that by the time he got that role, it would be the last time he played that character, and that we will never see him again, and let Michael Fassbender completely take over that role as their Magneto. But you know what? It's great to see that we're going to get that reunion between Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen working together again. And it seems to me that they're going to lean towards more of the comic book accurate of the X-Men team with the OG cast members, because I feel like that this is going to be their only chance to actually give us a comic book accurate X-Men characters that are played by the OG actors that played these characters in the Fox's Marvel X-Men universe. They did the same thing in that last movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, with Hugh Jackman. He got a chance to play the comic book accurate Wolverine that we've always dreamt of. And this is going to be one of those fan service that is going to serve well. I'm hoping that this is not going to be a full-blown fan service event and not have a good story. If you're going to have a fan service, make a good story, make it more meaningful, and make it so impactful that the audience are doing this. And the reason why they're revealing some of the big names that could have been hidden later in the movie, it's because that they're playing a big part. They're the main characters of the story. And because Marvel, like I said, I brought this up on my Twitter page and I talked or get in a little bit of a debate saying that, dude, you got to remember Marvel is not in the best place right now after Captain America Brave New World flopped. There's still a chance that Thunderbolts can still flop because after the fallout of Brave New World, casual audiences are not that excited for Thunderbolts. Even if the movie turns out to be great, there's still a chance that they can lose money. But Fantastic Four still has a chance of being a success. It's a 50-50. That movie has more anticipation than Thunderbolts does. So we're going to have to see what happens. And this announcement that they were revealing so much is because they need to get the casual audiences back in and very excited for the Avengers Doomsday. So they have to reveal these big hitters. But I'm excited to see these two, their reunion back. I can't wait. And this is another name, another surprise. The surprises kept coming and coming and coming every 12 minutes. Alan Cumming will be returning as Nightcrawler, the actor who played the original Nightcrawler in X2, X-Men United, which I thought he was the best part of the movie. The teleporting mutant creature was awesome. I loved his character. Alan Cummings did a great job with the portrayal, and it was sucked so much that they sidelined him throughout the franchise and didn't use him much. He was only a one-off character in that movie. And to see him coming back into the fold after so many years, since back in like 2003, this is going to be a great fan service dream come true that we have always wanted. I can't wait to see the return of Nightcrawler in Avengers Doomsday. Okay, next up, another surprise. Rebecca Remains will return as Mystique, the actress who played the original Mystique in the first 3 X-Men movies, and technically she made a brief cameo in X-Men First Class when Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique shapeshifted into the older version of Raven. And to see her coming back into the fold again, she was one of the best parts in that franchise that became the more appealing character. And that's awesome that she's going to get a chance to play Mystique again. I don't think she's going to have that same kind of appearance that we last saw her in the movie. I think that they're going to have her clothed and probably have the makeup all over and getting the more comic book accurate look of Mystique. Because that's what I believe that they're going to do. Because it seems to me that we are going to see the X-Men play a bigger part in this movie. Now, another thing that made me so happy, James Marsden is returning as Cyclops in Avengers Doomsday. That blew my mind, and James Marsden for a while had been denying that he was going to be in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars, even coming off of the doing press tour when he was doing Sonic 3 the Hedgehog. I was always liked his portrayal as Cyclops in the Fox's Marvel X-Men universe. My biggest issue that I brought up in my reviews, if you've seen my reviews to the Road to Deadpool Wolverine, my biggest complaint that they completely sidelined Cyclops and they completely mishandled him. Because he was handled great in the animated show and in X-Men 97. He's always been a great leader, the Boy Scout, and he was a badass. He had charisma. He was carrying the franchise, especially with Wolverine by his side. But then at the time with Fox's Marvel movies, they wanted to get the Hugh Jackman the spotlight over James Marsden, but I was very disappointed that they did. But now, this is their chance to give this redemption to James Marsden's Cyclops. Because, like I said before, it seems to me that they are going to get these OG cast members to play the comic book accurate characters of X-Men that we've all been waiting for so long. Because they technically weren't the comic book accurate characters from the Fox's universe. So this made me so happy. This is their only chance to get Cyclops justice, and Kevin Feige and the Russo brothers are the ones that will do it right. Please do not mess this up. This would be a huge missed opportunity if you keep mishandling the character again, because I want Cyclops to be handled well. Now, there's another name that caught me off guard. Channing Tatum as Gambit! Channing Tatum's Gambit. Whoo, I'm about to make a name for myself. Oh, that was so cool that they actually said that he is going to be a bigger part in this story, and I believe that we will see the same variant of Channing Tatum's gambit that we last saw in Deadpool Wolverine, because most people say that he stole the spotlight when he showed up in the movie, and Channing Tatum was definitely born to play the character. He was so satisfied with Ryan Reynolds to fight for the studio to get him to play Gambit on screen, because originally they were going to make a solo Gambit movie before they scrapped the whole thing, before the whole Disney Fox merger. They were originally going to have him have a standalone movie. And Channing Tatum really is a big Gambit fan. He is a hardcore fan. It was his dream role to play that character, and he got that chance. And now he's going to get another chance to play the character again. Because, dude, there was no way in hell that they were going to never use him again. It became a big trend. His a quippy line, one-liner, became a meme on social media. Everyone loved his portrayal as Gambit, and they know it would have been a missed opportunity if they never bring him in. Or Secret Wars. So next up, yeah, Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards. We already know that he's going to be in the movie. I already brought that up before. So that's about it. That's the rest of the cast members that are going to be in Avengers Doomsday so far. Now, I don't know if this is true or not. I think that there's supposed to be like 50 cast members, and we only got like 27 or 28 of them that showed up. It might just be for both movies for 50 cast members for Secret Wars and Doomsday. So they're only showing us of who's going to be in the movie in Doomsday. And because they're already starting production, and they don't want to risk of, and they already know that the set photos are going to get leaked eventually, so they need to get ahead of the game, and they had to show everyone who's going to be in this film. And I love that Robert Downey Jr. came up on the end of the chair, of the casting chair, and just does a shh. Yeah, he's definitely going to be the drawing marketing for this movie. Once we see the trailer and see him as Doctor Doom, and then we're going to see the appearance of the X-Men and the Avengers. Either one, they might go versus on each other. They might fight each other. I could be wrong. Or they're going to work together. I think that they should completely change the title and call it Avengers v X-Men Doomsday. I brought that up on my Twitter page, so that's kind of the title they should change. But who knows? They might change the title by the time that trailer comes out. Because the X-Men are apparently playing a bigger part of the story. And even the Thunderbolts are going to be playing a bigger part of the movie. So it's going to be a crowded film, and from what I've heard, that this is going to be like might be 3-hour plus movie for both Doomsday and Secret Wars. And it makes sense because you got so many characters that you're dealing with, and this is going to be the expensive movie that they've ever made because you're getting major hit stars who have played these characters for a long time. So yeah, it makes sense. And like I said, the Russo brothers are only great when they are directing a well-established characters, when they're doing the MCU and they're working for Kevin Feige, and that's what they're at their most strengths. But when they try to direct other movies that are completely non-existing IP, that's a different story. That's at their weakness. So the actors that are not going to be in the movie, that I was surprised that they did not have them in the movie. Chris Evans. I mean, at first they said that Chris Evans was going to show up in Doomsday, and Chris Evans denied it. So I think that Chris Evans might make a pop-up in Doomsday, or he will most likely show up in Secret Wars. Haley Atwell and Mark Ruffalo. I'm surprised that Mark Ruffalo did not make the casting list, because he's one of the OG Avengers, and yes, they nerfed his character in the MCU in She-Hulk, and I was disappointed. But this might be their only chance to redeem Hulk and give us the Raging Hulk that we've always wanted. And who knows? For all we know, that they have not shown us all the cast members for Doomsday. For all we know, that they are still got more to come. Maybe later. And the one thing that doesn't really surprise me was Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I mean, I kind of suspect that he might have been most likely be in the movie, but at the same time, they just started production for Avengers Doomsday, and Tom Holland is already busy shooting The Odyssey with Christopher Nolan. So I think he could not show up on set at the time. For all we know, he might show up later. And I think that after The Odyssey, he's supposed to be getting his Spider-Man 4 film that is directed by the director of Shang-Chi. So they're already got the cast. So they might go into production after he's wrapping up The Odyssey. He's got to get prepped and ready for that. So from what I've heard, that Spider-Man 4 is supposed to be taking place between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So it's most likely he'll probably pop in Secret Wars. And I believe that once we get into Secret Wars, it's going to be a full-blown multiverse war. There's going to be, I guarantee that there's going to be plenty of legacy characters from the Marvel Universe that are outside of the MCU are going to be showing up. I surely do believe that we're going to see Toby and Andrew show up, and Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. Now, I have, I'm not the only one who wants this, but I have a feeling that if they do this, if they have a few of the OG actors that played these iconic roles that started it all and became the face of the Marvel Universe. They would have this whole dream team with Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark's Iron Man, Chris Evans as Captain America, and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, all teaming up. Dude, their group of the OGs, the iconic OGs that started it all, that would be amazing dream team, and that would give every fans that they have ever wanted. But I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm just simply speculating. And the one thing I'm a little bit surprised, I thought that maybe Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange might make an appearance in Doomsday, but he's not in it. But he did say months ago that he was not going to be in Doomsday, that he was going to show up in Secret Wars, so that makes sense. So who knows? We'll see. Another Evangeline Lilly as the Wasp. I thought she might have been showing up in the movie with Paul Rudd's Ant-Man, but apparently she's not showing up on that list, so that was a little bit of a surprise. Iman Vellani, who is playing Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. I'm surprised that she did not pop up in that casting list, because it seems to me that she was one of the characters that was going to show up in the movie, and they were teasing that whole Young Avengers team up in that mid-credit scene in the Marvel. So that's what I suspected, but who knows? They could still pop up in Doomsday. They probably have not shown us everything. Another surprise that they have not shown was Chris Pratt's Star-Lord, Peter Quill. He's back on Earth with his grandpa. That's when we last saw him in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and they teased that he will return at some point, and whatever it is. Another, Paul Bettany's Vision. I thought Vision was going to pop up in that list. I thought he was going to be in it, the White Vision, and he's got his upcoming show called Vision Quest on Disney+. But who knows? There's still going to be more to come. They might show more that they haven't shown the rest, so who knows? Tatiana, who's playing She-Hulk, I assumed that they were going to put her in the movie too. I assumed that they were going to pop her up in the casting chair, but they didn't. There's still a chance that she could still pop up in Doomsday and Secret Wars. I may not have loved She-Hulk. I hated that show, but I don't think Tatiana was part of the problem. I just didn't think she was well written in that show. And if she's under the banner with the Russo brothers, there's no doubt in my mind that they will do it justice to She-Hulk. Rhodey's War Machine. He's another one of the OG Avengers. Well, technically the OG Avengers. I thought he might pop up, and he's got another film called Armor Wars on Disney+. No, not Disney+. He's got a movie. He's got a movie called Armor Wars, which I still don't know if they're ever going to make that movie anytime soon. So it's no surprise. Here's another surprise that didn't pop up on the casting chair. Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. She was one of the strongest of, probably arguably the strongest Avenger in that universe. And she was well handled in Avengers Endgame, even though they didn't really use her that much in the movie. But I'm kind of a little bit bummed that they didn't use her enough in the MCU. They should have given her a Captain Marvel too. I mean, it's not Brie Larson's fault, but I just didn't think that they really handled her character very well, and especially in the Marvels, which was disappointing. I hope that she will pop up at some point, but she still could pop up in Doomsday, and if not, then it's most likely Secret Wars. Because you got to remember, you got like 20, 30 characters in a single movie. You still got another movie to come up that is going to be complete overcrowded. So for those of the people that might not show up in Doomsday, will probably most likely show up in Secret Wars, and that would make a lot more sense. Elizabeth Olsen's Scarlet Witch. I still am going to lean towards the belief that she's not coming back, but she did say that she's not coming back for Doomsday or Secret Wars, but she could be lying out of her ass. She could be lying. Besides, we still have another variant of Scarlet Witch from that other universe in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. They might use her to pop up in that movie. Who knows? American Chavez. That was in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that has the ability to go jumping through other portals from another reality. I'm still surprised that they didn't have her on that list as well, because she's one of the key important parts. She's one of the only person in any other universe. She doesn't have any other variants. She's the only one that can actually have the power to jump through other portals from another reality across the multiverse. And I'm surprised that she did not show up in that casting chair. Monica Rambeau. That's another surprise. Monica Rambeau, that one that we last saw her in the Marvels. And I brought this up before, that she showed up in the post-credit scene. She survived. She got transported into another reality with the X-Men. She was in the X-Men medical chamber, and she met up with Maria Rambeau, her mother's doppelganger, who is also alive, who is not Captain Marvel. And I thought that she was going to play a bigger part with the X-Men, and I believe that the one that we saw from Hank McCoy, Kelsey Grammer's Beast, I believe that we're going to see that same version. and that we are to see the team of the X-Men in that reality. And I suspected it would be Hugh Jackman to be a part of the X-Men team, but he's not pop up in that list. But there's still a chance that he could still pop up, and if they cast another actors in announcement for Doomsday or Secret Wars. But if he's not going to show up in Doomsday, he's definitely going to show up in Secret Wars. This is going to be the crazy multiversal event that they're going to bring back the legacy Marvel characters and go completely haywire. And we're going to see a crazy battle going on. And they have to make the biggest Marvel movie as they possibly can to win over the fans. They have to go more beyond from Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. And let's just hope that they don't screw this up. I really hope that they do it justice. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. What did you think of this casting announcements? Did this movie get you excited for more of Avengers Doomsday, or did it get you less excited? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and leave me your thoughts. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so you know when my videos are up. My goal is to reach 500 subscribers. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. And if you want to follow my social media platforms, the link tree will be down in the description down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and stay tuned for more of my content.